Welcome everyone to our live interview with Dame Kelly Holmes for our podcast, Braincare. Now, I could say Dame Kelly needs no introduction, but it would be rude not to. Kelly is not just a double Olympic winning champion, but a national inspiration for how she's applied her talents after her professional career, as well as during them. Now, from the Dame Kelly Holmes Trust to support young athletes to help the lives of young people facing disadvantages across the UK, as well as opening up on the challenges that success can have on your mental health, it's fair to say she's a huge inspiration. Now, today we're going to talk about cultivating a mindset for elite performance and winning. In 2004 in Athens, you won 2 gold medals and became famous across the world. You won the BBC Sports Personality of the Year, the European Athlete of the Year, a damehood from the Queen. So leading up to that moment and that dream is a story that we want to understand a little bit, and we're hoping that a conversation with one of the most inspirational athletes of our generation, and arguably any generation, can help inspire our listeners and understand what it's like building up for that level of success. So over to you, Kelly. Where do you want to start?
As I was not very academic at school, so not really had an identity, one outside the classroom, kind of you then try and grab onto the one thing you think you're good at. And mine was sport. I was always beating girls that were 2 years older than me in sports days and things like that. And it kind of gave me a name, at least. Everyone wanted to be in my team and just made you feel good. It's like anything in life. If it makes you feel good, you're generally going to attach yourself to it. And then, there's something about athletics, it just feels so free. You're just running and it's between your mind and your body. If one of those lets you down, then it can be game over. But if both are in sync, you can pretty much achieve anything if you have a natural ability, of course, and then a determination to achieve. And I was very fortunate that I maybe had all of those together. I was a junior international athlete up until I was 17, and I won the Mini Youth Olympic Games in Holland. So I actually won my first gold medal for 800 meters when I was 17. And, it just gave me, I loved it. I just felt so good and free. And
what were some of the best behaviors that you're proud of that contributed to your desire to be an elite athlete?
When you're really determined and you're focused and whatever, people can just perceive you as hard, like not going to mess with you, because I can come across really like bullish and like, right, I'm ready for it, you know what I mean? I could literally come across like that because inside me I'm so determined to always be good and driven and motivated, and that shouldn't look, some people will take that like almost like a threat. If you look at people and you come across anybody in life and the way that they are and they're being, you have an opinion of them just because of that persona almost. But, to be a champion and to be a winner, you have to have that element of fight and determination and, almost like, no, this is all that matters to me, and some people might say, oh, that's selfish against other people. Well, no, as I said earlier, it's okay to want to be you, and it's okay to want to live your life, and it's okay to want to go for your dreams, and that just makes me focused and determined. As much as that, of course, it can put pressure on you because all you want to be is good. You don't feel like you're being good and don't feel like you're being successful and don't feel like you're achieving. You can be really down on yourself, which I am, but I can't change that way. I can manage and not be so tough on myself and go, do you know what, you're not good at everything, so ask other people to help. I can still get frustrated because I want people to go as fast as me and change as much as me, but then you have to learn, and that's just through age and experience. Everyone's very different. So I've had both, and I would say that being an elite athlete at the time, it's not that healthy. I can be the fittest person out there, but it doesn't mean you are necessarily healthy because you're pushing your body to the extreme. You're psychologically in a different zone to what maybe most people are on a day-to-day basis. But on the flip side of that, if I wasn't so driven and so focused, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. So yeah. You take the rough with the smooth.
Totally. And how did you think you balance personal relationships and friendships with your training and your competition prep?
I didn't see many of my friends and family for years. When I was an athlete, I was traveling around the world. When you're traveling around the world and you're going from one event to the other, or you're living out a suitcase in the middle of nowhere in a small little box room that you can touch each side just because you want to be in altitude training and get the best of you. It's a lonely life. So actually you're always going to have some bit of conflict, I think. But I think it's a choice. Some people might have a partner that can give up everything, and they become, in athletics, you normally you see a lot of a partner who becomes the coach or the manager. That's the way that they can keep their anything going, because if not, they're never going to see each other. So it's just very different, I think. But I think it's just a choice that people make.
So reflecting back, obviously you achieved everything that you set out to do in your own personal goals. So it's clear to say that, the actions you took, the work you put in, and how you applied yourself were all validated for exceptional success. What were some of those daily routines that you would never compromise on that journey? And I guess I'm not just talking about, I would run X amount because it's obvious, but, more mindset practices, the way you set up your day.
The thing that I valued the most with sport, which maybe people could do a lot more of now, and I start to do, is sort of writing down what I've got to do within that week. I know what I've got to do on each day. And it was really good from a mindset point of view, as knowing on a day-to-day basis what I needed to do, when and where and how. And that would be a combination of obviously training, but also what I was going to eat, when I was going to do things like power nap, if I was going to do ice baths, massage, go to the physio. When I became a full-time athlete, so mainly in 1998, because I'd left the army after nearly 10 years, I became a full-time athlete, and I was able to then structure my day in that way. And that was great because it just gave me more focus approach to what I needed to do. Like, this is what I need to do. I've been doing it for years. I've done it before. This is just another day. And I used to do that in my athletics. I'd get worried about a session that was a key session on the track. And if I didn't hit the targets, I'd be so down on myself. But then I'd have to think, and my coach would go, "You've done this session thousands of times. It's no different. So take the pressure off, just run the times." And so, you then change your way.
It's really easy for people like myself to look at athletes and think that you were born with a winning mindset. You were born with the physique and the genetic coding that made this your life. Of course, deep down, I know that's a big excuse, I tell myself, but what I'd love to know is if you do hear that a lot, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on, if there is any truth in that, or, it's a constant work in progress for yourself and athletes, just like it is for everyone else.
Yeah, I think everybody has a talent in life, I really do. Every single one of us have something we're good at. We just know it, we get it, we see it, we visualize it, we enjoy it. It's all so different for everybody, but mine was just in sport. I had an actual talent, I think. For me, having somebody at school, my PE teacher, tell me I could be good was a changing point in everything leading up to that point and everything after it. I was a young girl in Kent, just a council girl kid, didn't grow up with my biological father, didn't know who he was, all those little things that you could really feel a bit lost with. Sport just gave me. It just made me feel good, and I was good at it. And then there's a difference between, you can have a talent in anything, but if you give up, you're never going to achieve it. Let's face it, so many people have given up just before they could have been good, and they never knew that because they gave up. Whereas I always refused to just give up. I'll fail, and learning to fail is a real good skill in life. Learning to kind of overcome situations is a massive skill in life. Once you've done that, you can do it all the time. Keep going. And I just feel very lucky. I can't say I was born with it. I can't say I got it from, there was no real influence in my life to really fight for anything, but I feel I'm lucky I was the person that had it.
Any particular habit or routine pre-competition that helps you achieve flow states? See, flow states, for anyone listening who doesn't know what it is, it's sort of that moment where you're in the zone, essentially, where everything just clicks.
I learned something really valuable to me around nerves. I was getting ready for a world championship. So I was favourite to win the gold medal. I was 25 years old, still competing at a high level, but also full-time job in the military. But I still ranked in the top 3 and should have won this gold medal, basically. And in the morning of waking up, I was so overcome with this nervous energy and this cloud, like I just couldn't control. I couldn't relax. I couldn't look at anything without seeing a track and me losing. It was just for 10 hours up until the race, and even on the start line, I'm looking at the clock thinking 4 minutes will be over. I'm running around the track and I'm thinking 3 laps will be over, 2 laps. Anyway, my biggest rival, Murray-Serter, when she made the break, I'd lost it. And I was so disappointed in myself. I was so disappointed. And I thought I vowed never to get that bad again. So I ended up having to do sort of breathing techniques, relaxation. So before I'd race, I would lay down, I would put some earphones on, I'd listen to music, or I'd kind of just watch other athletes that had nothing to do with my race, like the big hammer throwers. So I just started to do more relaxation, and it's a really good tool just to calm your nerves. Big deep breaths, think of other things that you enjoy and make you laugh and finish, because the time is going to come anyway that you've got to execute whatever you've got to execute. So that's how I learned to deal with that.
In some senses, you're distracting yourself instead of focusing on the task at hand, which created a better opportunity to focus on the task.
Yeah, because there's no point in worrying about this thing all the time. It's going to come, it's going to go. And if you worry about it too much, you're thinking about the outcome and you haven't even started. So I had to take away from what I was going to do. I was going to do that anyway. So the process would start with a warm up and a jogging and a stretching and cool rooms and then the start line and you're off. There's no point in me worrying about doing all that. And we've all done those routines so many times that why do you keep worrying about it? I did that thousands and thousands and thousands of time in training. This is just an event where there's a medal at the end of what I was doing all the time anyway. So that's how I started to change the enormity of something to make it just become almost like a bit like I knew what was happening.
Okay, so just starting to wrap up, and then we'll go to a couple of final Q&A from the audience. What top tips do you have for people who want to cultivate a winning mindset in their field? We've got portaloo, that's definitely one. We will all be making sure that we go in a specific portaloo, but what else?
No, belief in yourself is so critical. I'd absolutely say that is the one top tip. If you have element of belief, you're halfway there. Kind of remember the skills you have and just put them into the front of your mind when you're going out and talking or delivering or developing or kind of processing things that you want to do, and then having a great team of people around you, people that will pick you up, lift you up, people that you can talk to, open up to and share, and ask for help always.
I've got a question here from Michael. When you're feeling at your rock bottom in terms of mental fatigue and motivation, what things have you done to switch your mindset to a positive one and help increase motivation?
Probably knowing that things won't last forever. If you'll gradually get to a point where it feels a bit better, and actually proactively thinking that I think really helps. Again, if I just give you an example, having COVID for that 2.5 weeks where I was like literally wiped out, and I'm normally so energetic and motivated, but when you feel ill, you just can't get that out of you. Your head's pounding, you feel like you just don't want to do anything, and you can really sort of take yourself back. But I keep thinking, like, I'm going to get better every day. I'm going to be getting better. I'm going to get better. I'm still thinking about what I need to do, what things that are in the diary, things that I want to get back, people I want to talk to, and you start proactively trying to bring some of those little bits back into your life without switching everything off. Let me just quickly answer the question. When I've been on a real low, I made a vow to my friends that if I ever needed their help, I would always call them, message them and say, do you know what, I just need a chat. And I think that's one thing I can always pass on to everybody, that I never had that chance back in 2003 because it was just something that was so taboo. And then having written it publicly in a kind of a autobiography, and the first time my friends and my family found out about it, it wasn't a great time. And I always vowed to them that if I ever needed their support again, I would. And I would always absolutely say to people, there is always someone there that will listen to you, that is there for you, that can support you. So never ever feel alone when you're going through a tough time. Just get somebody on the phone and they can start to help you see clearer and start to, you know, get you back to who you are. And even if it's your best mate that makes you laugh and say something stupid that might not even be appropriate at that time, sometimes you just remember who you actually are.
Okay, Kelly, thank you so much for your time. It's been amazing having you on this live interview. And Kelly, thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your questions. Have a good day.
Thanks. Have a lovely day.